All right, here we go on a Monday evening. Welcome to Outlaw Radio Live, first show of the week. My name is Kevin Barnes. I am the host of Outlaw Radio, militant with a microphone, the mouthpiece of the movement, aka the Negro Whisperer, also known in some circles as the world-class smartass. What it do, my people? What it do? This is how we go on a Monday and a Wednesday every week at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's Outlaw Radio. I always like to say twisted, visted, and unlisted, right? The Outlaw Radio, not necessarily accepted by some of the mainstream people out there, but that'll come along sooner than later. This is a foundational Black American platform. Shout out to you if you understand the delineation movement, if you understand your lineage, if you want to give it up for those who came before you and sacrifice and pay the ultimate price for having all this melanin in our skin, whether it be through slavery, whether it be through the Jim Crow era, if they were a victim of the crack epidemic, or where we are right now in this country, which is the Trump regime 2.0, then this show is for you. Outlaw Radio, man, foundational Black American stand up. I'm so happy to identify as one of the descendants of the people with the most perseverance in the history of this planet. That is Black people. Black people only come from America, but Black people are the only true Americans because everybody else is an immigrant themselves. So forget what you heard. How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. I'm happy to be back. I haven't been on since last Wednesday. Y'all know I get these withdrawals. I got that Rakim microphone fiend thing going on. I love talking to my people. I love bringing y'all this show because our mission is to entertain, educate, and enlighten, and in some cases, even empower you, because knowledge is power, right? And the more you know, the better you'll be. So welcome to the show. If you want to get involved in the conversation, once again, it's Outlaw Radio Live, so there's no specific talking point tonight. We're just going to talk about a bunch of different things that have transpired since we were last on the air. We do have a very active chat room that you can jump in at any time and express your expressions. But we also have a phone number, which is also very busy. So shout out to my Outlaw fam who always chime in on the phone. 262-202-5131. Once again, that's 262-202-5131. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen if you didn't know. So how y'all doing? Like I said, what's going on, Milwaukee? What's going on, 414? Somebody got at me last week and said, oh, this is just about local Milwaukee politics. I talk about what's going on locally a lot because I get a lot of support from the hometown. And I think a lot of times our people here need to be informed. I think that's one of the things where we kind of get tripped up at is we don't always know the what's and the ins and the outs and the ups and the downs. So try to cover those bases on Outlaw Radio, not to tell you what to think, but just to tell you to think. So that's where I'm at. Shout out to Brandon Hayes in the chat room. He said, peace. How you doing, Brandon? Brandon is a major contributor to not the 414, but the People's News Network. It used to be called the 414 Freedom Gang, but now it's called the People's News Network, which is our sister group. It's basically my own very Black CNN, and everything that's relevant or important to Black people. Because I always say people talk about us, but they don't talk to us. And everybody, especially the mainstream media, tries to create narratives about what's going on, about what and how we feel about things. And a lot of times it's inaccurate. So I just take the People's News Network as my own personal CNN and call it the BNN, the Black News Network. And there's a bunch of different platforms. If you don't like my perspective, there's a bunch of different schools of thought in there. So go in and check out the People's News Network. If you're not a member, join right now. It's a Facebook group. Join right now. Goes hand in hand with Outlaw Radio and what I've done here for the past 14, 15 years. Yes, we've been around that long, 14, 15 years. If you go to the YouTube page, the People's with a Z Network, there's about 296 shows over the last 14 years that we've done, from when we did the show live here from the studio to when COVID hit in around 2020, where I moved towards a more virtual thing, which is where I'm at now. So who knows what the next level of development will be. Once again, Milwaukee, I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope y'all want to talk tonight. I need you all to talk to me. If you have something that you feel like is an important topic that you'd like to discuss, please don't hesitate. Dial that number, 262-202-5131. Please call in. Brendan says, did you hear about that white lady delete her kid? I did not hear about that. I don't know. I didn't see that. I'm more often than not focused on what's going on in Black America, so I didn't see that. I wanted to start off tonight with these rumors and rumors and rumors about the Texas Roadhouse. I guess white employees were threatening to tamper with Black food at the Texas Roadhouse. I have been to Texas Roadhouse a couple times with my family. My kids like Texas Roadhouse. My wife enjoys Texas Roadhouse. Well, this was before when she actually still ate red meat and pork and stuff like that. She doesn't eat that anymore. It's been some years. But I wasn't a fan. I wasn't necessarily a fan of Texas Roadhouse. I didn't like, and what everybody likes is the bread. I didn't like the bread. I don't like sweet bread. I mean, give me a donut or a cookie. Yeah, that's fine. But I didn't like the bread. It just threw me off. It wasn't one of my favorite spots. But here's a tip. If there's any threat, any rumor, any accusation that Black customers' food will be tampered with, shut them down. Shut them down. Let's not go there. This is not the 1950s. Once again, we're not begging or pleading to be seated at your lunch counter when you don't want us there. And if there's any threat of you doing something to our food, then we'll just go somewhere else. We'll just go somewhere else. We'll take our ball and leave, right? And so I tell all my people, don't patronize in places where you're not wanted. Don't spend your money where you're not wanted. It should be very easy nowadays to do economic boycotts because there's so many options. Every business needs our money in order to survive. And I'm talking about that black dollar. They can deny it all they want, but they can't fool me, right? Every business in this country needs Black America's dollars and support to survive. So if Texas Roadhouse won't check their employees, we'll check them, right? Don't go to Texas Roadhouse. When we get on boycotts like this, it's just like I was saying, we were saying a couple weeks ago, well, a couple months back when we were talking about the Asian people, when the Asian guy was talking all this shit about, he dared Black America to boycott them and talking about how much we needed them. And I thought he had it twisted because I felt like, no, you need us. We're the consumers. We spend the money. We keep your business going. So once again, we can show them better than we can tell them, y'all. No more Texas Roadhouse until we get some clarity here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What we got here? Earl Henning said, fuck Donald Trump and his friends who think they own America. Yes, Earl Henning is one of my outlaws. Yes, absolutely, Earl. Anybody who thinks that it's about politics over people, you are not a friend of my show. You're not a friend of me. The power is in the hands of the people, and that's where it should remain always and forever, or forever and always, as they say. He said, Carmelo Anthony, this is Brendan. Brendan, give me some time. Let me go through it. Let me go through my talking points. I'm going to talk about that. You absolutely know I'm going to talk about that. Give me some time. If anybody out there has input on the Carmelo Anthony latest developments, please chime in. 262-202-5131. It's Outlaw Radio. We are on deck. We're on deck. He said, my bad. It's all good. It's all good, man. You just show me that there's people out here who want to talk. People out here who want dialogue about what's going on in our country. And I appreciate that. And I hope that people are choosing to do that with Outlaw Radio. I know you got a lot of options. Like I said, you can go to the People's News Network. There's so many different platforms in there. And Brendan, you know this. But I hope you want to rock with us here on Outlaw Radio. And I really appreciate it. So tell a friend, share the show, share it in your groups, share it with your friends, put it on your timeline. Say, hey, this is the show I was talking about. And if you want to be on the show, if you really want to stunt for your friends, hit the line, 262-202-5131. It's Outlaw Radio, baby, on a Wednesday. On a Monday. Outlaw Radio Live. He don't even know what day it is. Hey, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, right? Temporary insanity is what I plead. But, we had a conversation the other night about the Black family structure, and that was last Wednesday. And I was talking about Black feminism, and I was talking about what I felt like was detrimental to the relationships between Black men and Black women. And I talked about a lot of females, or I shouldn't say females, a lot of women, because I feel like females is like a real generalized kind of like statement. It's like a broad stroke when it should be way more specific. Black women, I should say Black women. I feel like that there's some straightening that needs to be done in our community because we got to pull it back together for the sake of our children. We keep talking about how bad off our children are and how lost they are. Well, one of my things is that it's a result of the family structure not being intact or where it once was. And so we talked about that the other night. It was a great conversation. Shout out to everybody who participated. Shout out to Carrie Walker Jones. She brought the thunder for the females, for the sisters. So I did it again. She brought the thunder for the sisters. And a lot of the other black women in the chat room who support Outlaw Radio. We got a lot of black sisters who are outlaws as well, who ride strong with us in the saddle. They chimed in. So it's a great conversation. I said all that to say, coming off the weekend or going into the weekend, now there's conversations being had, and these are always these are celebrities, somebody like 50 Cent or somebody like Rick Ross and all these guys. Now whatever they say now usually is referred to a bunch of different times. 50 can go viral for anything. Um, but they're saying marriage is a bad deal. 50 saying he spoke with a lot of rich, wealthy men around the world, and they've stated that they would never get married because it's such a bad deal for the man. And I don't know if this was just monetarily or emotionally, but I wanted to talk about that just a little bit tonight. Let me see. Carrie Walker's in the chat room. She said, I just found out that Haitians are on the attack with black people because they are convinced that Democrats are deporting them. Do they know who's in office? Yeah, if people want to make up reasons to get into it with foundational black Americans, so what? Right? It's nothing we can do. And I think that people have blamed foundational black Americans for being divisive for the delineation movement without really paying attention to the climate, to the political climate in this country. It's not us that are being divisive. You have a government whose whole platform is to push separatism, is to move with xenophobia and call out immigrants and say, hey, we want all of these illegal immigrants out this country trying to take our jobs and our women and all this kind of shit. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It's divide and conquer. It's divide and conquer. Brandon Hayes said Keith Lee is helping out in Indiana. I meant to give a shout out to Gary, Indiana when I started the show. Shout out to all the brothers and sisters in Gary, Indiana who are holding on. It's going to be okay. And this is where we have to have our own separate source of resources so that when our people are down, they can get the assistance that they need. We don't have to depend on FEMA or depend on the United States. We know by Gary, Indiana being a very large, being the in possession of a very large black population, they will be last on the list to get aid. Shout out to the people, man. Y'all stay strong, keep your head up, pray to God. And it'll be okay, man. I know it's tragic right now. I know they're still without power and water and all this kind of stuff. The area is decimated and devastated by floods, which is sad, but these kinds of things happen. So once again, y'all stay strong. We'll give them a fist and we'll give them love. And we'll shout out Gary, Indiana. God bless y'all, man. I hope y'all are okay. But I wanted to get back to this thing about marriage, right? Like, and we've talked about this on the show before. And a lot of people say the problem with marriage is that it's an outdated concept and that it doesn't function right. It's so uneven. And nowadays there's no need to do it in this kind of thing. Well, I'm one of those people, and I'm not breaking my Bible over your head as a Bible basher, but I do identify with the Christian side of things. And I do believe that the Bible states that, he who findeth a wife findeth a good thing. And as somebody who's been married for a very long time, I can tell you there are a very lot of there's a whole bunch of benefits to being married. And there's nothing better than finding someone who you feel like you can spend your life with, who you can build with. If you've ever had any minute to spend in the streets or what they call outside now, I can tell you it gets old very quickly. And then you find yourself in a never-ending cycle of foolishness. Now, once you start to talk about having children or even just building something solid, marriage is the way to go. And I think a lot of times people go into marriages or they go into relationships where they are not successful and they blame the institution instead of the individuals. So if you are in a marriage or in a relationship that does not work, you cannot say, I will never get married again. You can only take what you learn from that situation and build for the future. And I would advise people before you run off left-handed thinking that, you got to follow these guys who come out and say one thing or, oh, I got money. I will never get married. I'll never be a family. I will never try to build a family this way. I mean, these dudes have children by multiple women, which is fine if that's what you want. but it's not the most stable situation, and it's not the most beneficial situation for a child. So, you need to be focused on being a dad and being there as much as you can. And a lot of times that requires that you are in the household as far as you can be, as much as you can be with your children. Dads, black fathers are needed. I can't even overstate the importance that men play in the role of of the family. And but I mean, at the same time, mothers, come on, man. Your mama is the queen of the castle, right? Your mother's your first teacher. She teaches you how to hold your head up, how to eat, how to walk, how to talk, how to carry yourself. And your dad reinforces it and vice versa. It just goes back and forth between parents like that. So let's not get too sour on marriage yet. Let's start helping people understand how to navigate relationships. Let's start helping people discover emotional intelligence and emotional maturity. Okay. Selflessness and the love of self. Because I always tell people there's no way you're going to be able to be in a successful anything if you don't know yourself. If you haven't figured out what makes you happy and what gets you ticking, then you can't expect somebody else to come along and on a magic bus and save you. So before we start talking down on marriage and this kind of thing, we need to start considering the fact that the black family structure has been under attack for a very long time. And it's sad that we've gotten to the point where we have in our communities where we look at our own children and we don't recognize them anymore because you have some parents who are working very hard on being a mother and a father because they don't have the other side. And I think a lot of times these celebrities, they need to pay more attention to that and understand, like, you got to be careful what messages you give out because everybody don't got $15 million or $20 million to protect in assets. Some people need to build, they need to get with a person that's compatible with them, not who they want necessarily, but who they need. It is need versus want, y'all. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. He said, Brendan's just running down topics. Rick Ross, verse 50. Maybe I should call you, Brendan, when I'm getting ready to prepare the show. He put Master P. He's just naming off random stuff, man. I'll get to it all, Brendan. I promise you. I promise you. Earl said, fuck Donald Trump, dumbass con man in the White House. Okay. See my sister, Carrie Walker Jones. She said, I love. And if you're lucky enough to find that person, yes, hold on to that. Y'all said don't listen to single people if you married. But I do talk to my friends about the pros if I see they really have a good person. Well, I mean, I don't know if my message was don't talk to single people. I think my thing was, it seems like single people always have the most advice. I think you got to be careful of taking advice from someone who doesn't have anybody about your somebody. Got to be careful. You got to vet the source. You got to vet the information. Earl Henning said, but she wanted out and I gave her away. Okay. Who is this? Marvin Geralds. He said, FBA, fools believe anything. Hey, man, if that's your opinion, if everything ain't for everybody, man. If you don't believe in the delineation movement, that's fine with me. I'm not here to try and turn you out. It's not a club. It is not a bumper sticker. It's not a website. I ain't got no t-shirt. It's none of that. There's no leader. It is what you understand about your own lineage. So if you say fools believe anything, hey, fine, that's true. Fools do. But are you the fool that believes that you're not FBA? Sometimes it's the opposite of what you think it is, Marvin. I don't know if you're attempting to troll me or what, but I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I think that's actually funny, right? That you said that, right? Like fools believe anything, right? Come on, like that's give him a drum roll, right? That's funny. Good joke, man. Fools believe anything. Hardy har, but I'm also gonna give you one of these. Only engage in positivity on my platform, my brother. I don't really do all of the back and forth with the people who, if you don't agree, you don't agree. It is what it is, but I'm not gonna go back and forth with you about it. Carrie Walker Jones said, she said, Marvin Geralds, we don't believe what you just said. Right. Okay. Well, it's true, Carrie, right? He said, we don't believe what you just said. Hey, man, I got some real outlaws on here with me, man. And we get down, man. We understand. Understanding is everything. Earl Henning said he loved the white people. I don't know who he loves. I don't know him. But I'm glad you tuned in. He says, FBA is a distraction. There are more important things black people should be focused on. A distraction from what? What is distracting about understanding your lineage and your history? What is distracting about knowing that people who are your forefathers and your descendants came and paid a very heavy price for us to afford whatever lifestyle that we have or whatever privileges or rights we have in this country right now? What's distracting about understanding that there's some people who paved the way for us and that we just give them homage and say, hey, we won't allow someone to define who we are or give us a name or give us a title. We can name ourselves. We can come up with, we're able to think for ourselves. We're able to say, hey, you from Mexico, you're Mexican. If you're from Puerto Rico, you're Puerto Rican. I'm a black man whose lineage runs 200, 300 years deep in America, so I'm a foundational black American. What's the issue with that? He said, calling people tethers is childish and self-destructive. Well, it's funny that you got a lot of people who want to speak up now for tethers, but we've been called much worse for hundreds of years and even treated more harshly. So what's your point? It's childish and how is it self-destructive for me to call someone a tether? If that individual came to this country, and they didn't have, when they got here, they were encountered with discrimination and not having rights, and they seen what the foundational black Americans were doing, and they jumped on it just to enjoy the rights that we fought so hard for and were able to secure. And then as soon as someone says, hey, you're black, or they look at them and then identify with them with us, they immediately separate them. So I'm Jamaican, I'm Haitian, I'm Dominican, I'm whatever. What's the problem? I don't understand. He said, I've known my lineage look before Tariq Nasheed came. Well, actually, if that's your beef, then your beef is with Tariq Nasheed. He said long before Tariq Nasheed came up with FBA. Your beef is with him. Go troll his show. I'm pretty sure he's probably on right now. I'm glad you know your lineage. If you really knew your lineage, you wouldn't have a problem with what I was saying. Maybe you're in denial. Maybe that's the issue. Or maybe you'd like for Massa to identify you and give you a name and give you a title and pat you on your butt and say, go ahead, get on out there, boy. And you can run and dance a jig in a circle for Massa. It's all good. It's all good, man. I promise you. And Tariq Nasheed may have coined this term, but even if you go back to on my show, especially years and years before Tariq Nasheed coined the term FBA, we were talking about the fact that black people were the only true Americans because we are the only cultural group that was really basically created by this country because of us being here already and then them importing us for chattel slavery. So, yeah, I mean, talk to you blue in the face, man, but you're talking to yourself. It doesn't bother me. Marvin, this is Carrie Walker. She said, Marvin Jarrell sounds like one of them Haitians playing victim. If you are, tell your people that they are going against the very people that will vote their ass back in this country. Not smart. Okay. He said, I don't have a beef and I'm definitely not trolling. You are a fool. Hey, man, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a fool. I'm a fool because I believe in FBAism and I believe in the delineation movement and identifying ourselves. I also believe in black solidarity and black empowerment. You saying you don't have a beef. But you on my show. You're on my platform in the chat room talking shit. So you obviously do have a beef. And it doesn't bother me. I don't know if you think because I don't even know you. And the words that you're saying in here, they have no effect on me. You are a fool. Okay, I'm a fool then. Call it what you want. He says, so why don't you control this country? Here you go. I'm definitely 100% American. You know why we don't control this country. What have we been through in this country? Because of racism and because of segregation and discrimination. What are you talking about? Why don't we control this country? Because we've been through so much and we've been able to persevere and we've been subjugated and objectified in this country. That's why. Look at our history in this country. What do you mean? Why don't we control it? What are you talking about, man? He said, this is a public forum. It's a public forum, but it's my show. And you have the right to keep scrolling if you don't agree with what I'm saying on here. And once again, I don't care if you don't agree with me. Just respect my platform. All that you a fool and all that bullshit, that don't really hold no weight for me. So you can go left. I don't want to have to block you, but I will. Don't think I won't. But I will block you if need be. But I mean, come on, man. What you talking about? You just walked in. You just walked in this room, and this is a foundational Black American platform. Go troll somebody else. Go troll somebody else, man. Kerry Walker said he'd be on my page, so I might be the one that brought the trash in. Sorry, Kevin. It's all good. It's all good. Ruben Anderson, how you doing, my brother? Welcome to the show. It is Monday evening, Outlaw Radio Live, so we just chopping it up. Ruben, you know we got to get you to call in and give us a rundown. As I seen you on Facebook really getting at the mayor and the police chief and being real critical about some stuff, so I want you to hit the line eventually. We got us a good troll in the house tonight, y'all. Marvin Geralds or however you say his name. Fine, so FBA isn't helping. Being condescending to immigrants isn't helping Black people. Do you even know what you're saying? How are we condescending to immigrants? Are you okay? And then young people say, is you cool? Is you cool? Like, how are we condescending to immigrants? Right? If anybody's being condescended towards, it's us. Ewok says, who is this Marvin idiot? Hey, man, he's a troll, I guess. I'm going to call him a troll. I don't know what his purpose is, but I guess he got the right one tonight because he can't fade me with a bottle of bleach. I'm not really worried about him. What up, Dion? I see you in the chat room. He said, Kev, what up, man? He said, so pointing out the flaws in your rhetoric is trolling. Once again, I don't understand how me recognizing my lineage is rhetoric, right? And so what flaws? You haven't pointed out a flaw. What flaw? What flaw did you point out? What are you talking about? Calling them tethers, threatening them with ICE, et cetera, et cetera. You heard none of that on this show. Now, we've identified a tether for a tether before on this show. I ain't said it tonight. And we show as hell ain't threatening nobody with ICE. What are you talking about? You just a white man looking for some shit to do? Is your wife not paying you enough attention? So you figure you come on here and troll some Black people? You can't stop the positivity, man. Stop it, man. I'm agree with Ruben Anderson. He says stop. Right. I mean, come on, man. Ace Cooley in the chat room. What up, Ace? He said, is Messy Marvin even Black? I think he means. I don't know who or what he is. I don't know. He woke up today and he decided he was going to, come on a foundational Black American platform and troll. Good luck with that. He said, assuming anyone who disagrees with you is a tether. You are assuming. You are assuming. And you obviously have not listened to my show before, because I deal with people who don't agree with me all the time. And it ain't none for the worse. So, and the show is still operating. I've made a platform of allowing everybody to speak, whether they agree with me or not. Once again, you don't know me. You're obviously not familiar with what I do. So right now you're just talking to yourself in the corner, like some kind of retard talking about assuming anyone who disagrees with me is a tether. Where in the hell did you get that from? The only one hollering tether on this show is you. You're a very, very, very silly person. He said, you are a fool. Black Far Rockaway, Queens. Oh, so you from New York? Okay. Good. Who cares, man? You from Queens. Good luck. What are you, a rapper? You Run DMC? Like, who cares, man? Nobody don't care that you from Far Rockaway, Queens. What do that mean? You said that like that was supposed to mean something. I'm the epitome of a fool. Okay, well, I got you. I got you. I know exactly what to do with a person like you. If you believe, and it's fine if you believe I'm a fool. I'm the epitome of a fool. I work with my people. I'm a person of the community. I'm a proud Black man. I've been involved in so much with my people. You wouldn't even be able to understand it, obviously. So I'm not even worried about you. I'm not even tripping on you. Not paying you any attention. Matter of fact, I'm not going to even respond to any more of your comments because you just don't make no sense. A says, what makes him qualified to even speak on FBA business? White dude, you probably a Zionist chump. Well, he said he from Far Rockaway, Queens. I don't know if he thought that was going to impress or what. I don't know if he thought, I don't know what he thought that was. This is, so you claim to want Black unity yet can't handle constructive criticism. It's not constructive. It's just stupid. It's just dumb. You're just being very disruptive. You're like a bad kid. I taught public school for a while. You're like one of those bad kids who want to disrupt the class just to be disrupting it, just for no apparent reason. Normally it's because they can't read or something. I'm wondering if that's you. So I don't know what you're talking about. What constructive criticism? You said nothing constructive. Everything you said has been disrespectful and disingenuous. So I'm not even answering any more of your comments. And when we talk about what a tether is, you must be one. You must really be one. Obviously, if you black, you hate the skin you in because you don't want to see anything that's positive and black succeed. So go on about your business, man. In my neighborhood, we used to have this thing when we say speed on before you get peed on. And when I piss, I don't miss. No, you're dumb. That's my point. Okay. How many times you gonna say that? Okay, I'm dumb. I'm an educated fool. She said, Kerry Walker said, yes, this dude, he just want to argue, not making any sense. Hit me up, 262-202-5131, y'all. Let's go. Let's talk about it. Have y'all seen, I want y'all to be careful on what you're eating because we know, seeing Trump getting questioned about where this mystery beef is coming from, and he didn't want to be clear about where it's coming from. And it seems like just Trump, his economic policies, especially with tariffs and this kind of thing, has screwed the economy so much. And we've had all kinds of issues with our food. And all of a sudden we got this mystery beef. There was a beef shortage. Now we got this mystery meat coming in. And so Trump doesn't want to say where it's come from, and in a lot of cases, maybe it's time for us to boycott some of this. It's time for us to start saying, okay, let's get off the red meat for a while until we figure out what's going on. I seen in South Korea, they're saying they're about to make dog meat illegal for the first time in a long time. And there's a lot of people who over there who really love dog meat as a food because they say it restores their strength. So it's going on. It's going on now where they're saying they're going to make it illegal because I guess ownership of dogs as pets is going up over there. But watch what we're eating. Let's watch what we're eating. Let's pay more attention. And, for us, as far as black people goes, our health is number one concern anyway. So we really need to be watching all of the processed stuff we eat. This dude is still in the chat room going crazy talking about Tariq Nasheed supports Trump and that's who you get your rhetoric from. Yeah, once again, you have no clue what you're talking about. You have no clue what you're talking about. No clue what you're talking about. And I don't support Trump. So now this is sure enough a dude who hasn't paid attention to our show, right? The shit he's saying lets me know he's not paid attention to our show at all, talking about somebody support Trump. I'm an independent thinker. I don't have to go behind Tariq Nasheed as far as his talking points or what he says. I've been doing this long enough. I've been around long enough to know what I'm talking about. So I'm not really worried about you. Let me see. All right, we got a caller. I think I know who this is. Caller, where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Good evening.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I need for you to turn your device down in the background.
There you go. Can you hear me now?
I can absolutely hear you. What's going on?
Oh, cool. Oh, nothing. Me and my wife just sitting here. Finally got her to sit down and enjoy the show. And we was listening, and then I got to read through the comments, and I seen that this Mark called you a fool. And, and I love the way you handle yourself, man. You a manly man, and I really respect you. I do. But to Mr. Troller, you need to go find yourself something to play with, perhaps a prostitute, a kid, whatever the fuck you do, and get up off my people because that's not cool. If you don't like what's being said, don't come here. Nobody invited you. I've never seen any of the invitations to people like you to even come here. So, find yourself, man. And if you need to talk to somebody that bad, my number is 682-373-4890. Call and troll me and see how you like it at the end of the day. I can see really fun. So anyway, let me just get off that little Mark. It just makes me mad every time something good is going on and something that's beneficial to our community and to our people, and then you got the representative coming in. You know what I mean? Always want to slide in unannounced and always want to say something slick and just make yourself be heard. Just mention your name. That's good for us because don't nobody care about what you're talking about. And to disrespect the man behind all of this, it's just, for me, reflects a mindset inconsistent with the appearance of fairness. I beg you to call me. I really do. Otherwise, get your ass somewhere and sit down because there's grown folks up in here. My bad, y'all. But I'm sorry. Can't stand them punks. But anyway, yeah, we were listening to you, man, and I enjoyed the show. And you were talking about my anger and venting towards I'm not angry at the mayor. I just despise him. I'm not angry at David Crowley. It's just that I've sat many times downtown prior to him becoming anything. And we had heart to heart talks about our community and what needed to be done while he was waiting on money to come down the tubes, whatever he was talking about. So, and when I'm dealing with these families, my friend, it would be okay if we had any leaders, church leaders. It doesn't matter what kind of leader you are. Maybe just average people, if that's what you are. Go and talk to some of these families. Visit with them. David Crowley ain't said nothing. We got Jaheim Clark evidence keep coming in every day. Y'all murdered him in a house for a child that he never even killed. A crime that he was no more responsible for than the dark hue of his skin. And they knew it. But they rushed to judgment, killed him. David Crowley knew about it. Mayor Johnson knew about it. Norman knew about it. So if David Crowley going to hold some secrets and you're not going to speak out, especially when somebody offending your people, and you think that the ripple effect, the family members, the mother, and everybody else who done lost their loved ones, and police done did this, and you never said nothing. They murdered that boy in that house. They tortured that boy. I got the photos. They tortured him, burned him, shot him twice in the head, beat him up so bad. If you look at the picture on my page, that's just how his lip looked. Even after they put makeup on him, they destroyed that man. So, I don't, and David Crowley never let that go. And if that's how y'all do it, then you keep the secret. Then what other secrets you gonna keep? How you gonna represent somebody and you won't even stand up for somebody? Okay. So that's just, that's my whole thing with the mayor. I don't care nothing about a little weasel, man. You know what I'm saying? He's weak, unfounded, and lack any level of leadership skills at all. I don't care nothing about him. But yeah, that's where I stand on that, my brother.
It's all good, and I appreciate you calling in and having my back against this troll. But I understand. That this is what comes with when you do something like this. When you have a platform and you open up, this is what you get. Yeah. I believe it or not, because I'm not a sensitive person and I don't have thin skin. I'm from the neighborhood. I was born and raised on the north side of Milwaukee.
Oh yeah.
I came up as Marvin Gaye say. I come up hard, right? Like we in trouble, man. I didn't get this far by being no square. So his perspective is one that I know is out there, but and it doesn't really bother me. It's just funny. It's very comedic to me. So, but I appreciate you having my back, holding me down.
Hey man, how old are you, bro?
I am 50 years old.
Okay, I'm 60. Damn, I finally got up here. And just at 60 years old and everything that I see, and it's not that you need me to do anything or say anything for you. It's just as a man, as a black man, that comes first. And then when I see stuff like that, I'm just letting it be known to him. I don't give a damn about you. Find your place in the world. You know what I'm saying? Go take that shit to his family. That's just how it is. So I'm gonna let you go. We're gonna continue to listen to the show because you got some good stuff going on, man. Y'all be blessed, man. And once again to the stalker or whatever you want to call yourself or whatever you are, brother, please, man, go find you something to do. There's a lot out there to do other than dipping in people's business. Nobody wants you here. We don't even like you here. And my guy is really, really nice towards you, but I'm not. 682-373-4890. 24 hours a day. I'll holler at you, bro.
All right, my brother. Peace out, Ruben.
All right, now.
Yes, sir. I'm surprised that I haven't gotten this earlier because I know there's a lot of people who feel this way. It is what it is, right? I make no apologies for my own reality. I got another caller on the line. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Earl, man, and I'm calling from the north side of Milwaukee.
What up, Earl? What it do, man? How you doing tonight? I'm
doing all right.
That's what's up.
Your boy Marvin must be scared or something.
I don't know him. This is the first time I've ever even seen him pop up in the chat. So
Oh, that's Orlando.
Orlando ain't even that shallow. Like he at least understands what we're talking about when we talk about delineation and being a foundational Black American. And most people, anybody who has any understanding or has ever had a conversation with me knows you've never heard me not one time quote Tariq Nasheed. I mean, I watch his platform like anybody else, But I'm not one of those Tariq Nasheed groupies. I'm not hanging on his every live and all that. Like I catch it when I'm surfing YouTube. So, but for him to assume that I'm saying what I'm saying because of Tariq Nasheed just is very stupid. So it just goes to show why some people you just got to ignore. You can't pay attention to everybody.
Yeah, but when you got people that highlight everything that's against blacks, something's strange. And you black, something's real strange. Well, like hey, like you said, Harry McTuckman said some of the slaves didn't know they was really slaves or what.
Okay.
They thought it was natural to be told what to do. So some people like to be told what to do.
Yeah.
Like to be whipped. Like to be fed slop.
And the great my guy Marcus Garvey said everybody can't go. And when he was building the steamships, he said some of y'all wasn't no good here in America, so you ain't gonna be no good in Africa. So
yeah. He was kind of give up his seat to a pregnant white woman than a pregnant black woman.
Yeah, I don't want to make no assumptions about him like he's making about me. I just want to let him know he's totally got the wrong one. Like, you know.
Well, you ain't got to do it. I will. I love to fight them brothers, man. Cause they scare me. Cause them the ones that if push came to shove, they'll try to be on the other side.
Yeah, if that other side will accept them, which they won't.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Oh, they'll put a hood on. Like you ever see that one skit that
Dave Chappelle, Black Clan.
Yeah. he don't know he ain't black because he blind. That's all. You got to excuse him. He don't know.
He said he knows his lineage, so if that's what he took from what he learned, then you know it is what it is.
But when you look at the big picture, he don't act like it. You see what they doing?
Yeah, they just say
like
I hear what you say, but I know what you mean, right?
And like he's saying, he probably if he think twice about it, it ain't gonna hurt it till it hurt his pockets. You know, it ain't gonna bother him till it hurt his pockets. When they start taking his money from him, that's when it's gonna start hurting. Like everybody said, well, Donald Trump, they thought he was gonna get in office and give everybody some money. Yeah, everybody in his family.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah. And he didn't even say anything about Trump. I don't know if he's a Trump. He accused me of being a Trump supporter. So
no,
it sounds like he's against Trump. Like he said it like it was a bad thing. But I don't know where he.
Hey, that's false advertisement. That man is with Trump. Because the first thing you think about is why are you against black people? Just like what's the cop name? They're catching. They're catching in all the lies. Yeah, they're catching him on all the lies, and he don't know what the hell he's talking about now.
Yeah,
he's been a cop for 6 years, so he still didn't get his gold badge yet.
Well, it's all good, man. Like I say, he said he's from Rockaway, Queens, New York. That's far. That's a long way from where I'm at, and maybe they don't see what we see over here. But I know I'm 100% sure of what I see, and so I'm not. There's no need for me to question it.
I got some people that way, man, and that don't sound like them. So he might be one of them. Like I say, he's a troll. He's floating around here like it's him. Like I gotta be. This is the fight I want. The fight I want is I'm a fight against my people because I know even though we've been going through hell for over 200 years, I still rock with the white man.
Well, he said, "Why you don't run this country then?" You know, that's who do you niggas think you are? Like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the vision is to keep us fighting among each other, thinking that we gonna fight against each other. No, we fighting against you losers, because you losers are the ones that ain't figured it out yet. That you still being taken advantage of, because you don't know that you're free, brother. You are free.
Well,
you are free to do whatever you want to do.
Well, one thing he can't do is stop this. This has been going on way too long, way before I even heard of him. It's going to continue on after him. So it is what it is. We're going to keep it rocking, man. We're going to keep outlawing. We ain't worried about, and that's why we're outlaws, because we live on the fringe and people don't understand a lot of times why we choose to move the way we move, but that's what an outlaw is. So, that's he can't. There's nothing he could do but sit around and make comments in my chat room, which I don't even have to respond to, honestly. So it's actually more me allowing him space. So it's all good. I ain't tripping. Okay, y'all, let me go to this chat room because I still got people in the chat room. I see Carrie Walker Jones. She said, "Oh, you didn't see where 400 servers on the White and Proud page said they spit in our food when we go to places like the steakhouse." I didn't see it. I didn't put much into it because once again, I'm not a customer. I'm not a consumer of the Texas Roadhouse. It's not one of my favorite restaurants. But I believe it to be accurate. I believe this is something they may engage in, right? And this is why we got to be so careful about being willing to run so far away from our community and spend money with businesses that don't respect us. This is why we have to do this, because this is their sentiment. A says, you black men are so, he said, you black man, so are you even American or are you from overseas? This is brother Step and Fetch It. He says, go listen to Tariq about Project 2025 and the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill. Once again, I don't have to go and listen to Tariq Nasheed for anything, right? You do. You get your education from YouTube. I don't, right? I think I got my bachelor's degree years before YouTube was even a thing. So I'm not really searching YouTube to learn and then try to appear to be intelligent. So you can just walk away with that. Kerry Walker Jones said, they say you're going to learn today. Yeah, I learned that these motherfuckers are the dumbest motherfuckers on earth. He's still saying it's a public platform. Okay. What else we got? He's laughing. And then he says, Kerry Walker Jones said, laughing my ass off. He going to fuck around and find out. This is him saying, call you for what? You're very emotional, talking to Ruben. Call him. Holler at him. This is Carrie Walker. She said, Ace Cooley, he's a tether with no brains. And he's repeating, FBA means fools believe anything. He said, FBA is a cult, just like MAGA. Okay. She said, I think he's a white man, really. I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is. He says, I just found this because of the algorithm. You're not important. You're really not important, right? Like, yeah, really. Who's not important, right? You're on my show. I don't give a damn if you found it on the algorithm. I'm in the algorithm and you're not, because I'm not on your show. You're on mine. So who's important and who's not? A said, that's why y'all mad, because we don't. You came to a nonpartisan platform. So know what the fuck you talking about before you speak, bro. Once again, he hasn't listened to the show. He hasn't listened to it. He said, we're strictly for the American black people. He said, I'm 56. Congratulations. My aunt is Carol Douglas, doctor's orders. Who the hell is that? I don't know who that is. And what is that? Ruben, right. Ruben says, so what? Right. Like, who is that? I don't know. I don't know who that is. He says, so what? You're probably Hakeem Jeffries supporter. That's Ace. Shout out to Ace. Kerry Walker said, Candyman. He said, you people are so dumb. It's hilarious that you spending all this time with us. Right? He said, bye, dummy. It's Ruben saying, bye, dummy. Let me go. He said he been pro-black since the 80s. My father is NGE. What the hell is NGE? What is that? I don't know what that is. You've been pro-black since the 80s. Oh, wow. Shit. That's why you talking about, your lineage and you just been pro-black since the 80s? Kerry said, that ain't no brother. That's a tether. That's why he's so butthurt about the name. Yeah, I expect people to be, he said, this appears to be a fake page dude is chatting on. Okay, Ruben, you went and did, okay. He said, nation of gods and earths. Okay. Once again, I don't know why you keep naming off all this shit. Like, it's going to be, we're not impressed. We're not impressed. Right. He said, fuck Trump and MAGA. Okay. Said, you fake. This is Ace saying you fake, bro. Your page ain't real. I've been trolled before, especially when I was with the Panthers. Kerry Walker said, I told y'all Haitians think Democrats are deporting them. My heart dropped. That means they have the dumbest humans on earth. Ruben Anderson said he was sent. Possibly. He says you have a picture of DMX, but you're telling me that I'm fake. I don't know who he's talking to because I don't got a picture of DMX. A said, okay, bro, we don't fuck with Trump. We're free. We don't have to claim one of these sorry ass parties. Ruben said, oftentimes agencies will survey platforms like this. Yeah, I mean it's just practice though, because no rules are broken. Nothing illegal is being done. He said, Mark Zuckerberg is allowing you space. You as well. That's why you're on here. You the one who talking about you in the algorithm, right? Come on. He said, here you go with the nonsensical conspiracies. I'm out. Please leave. Please leave. Do us all a favor. Save your breath. Ruben said, lay down, dude. He said, thank you, Lord. You leaving. A says, nigga, if you put on a condom, you look like a you what? You like a busted condom. Ace, what you talk about, man? This is him just saying, Kerry Walker Jones, wrong. You people are dumb. It's funny that he thinks we care about his opinion of us. He's saying, grow up, Ruben. Saying Ruben is a clown, whatever. Ace said, nigga, you put on a turtleneck, you look like a busted condom. Okay, Ace, I'm glad you're clearing that up because I didn't know what you were saying. Earl Henning said, black from 1963. Well, yeah, he said he been pro-black since the 80s. Like, that shit was, like, impressive, right? Like, come on, man. Said, I know black American history. You are definitely, obviously clueless. And by you saying you a member of the gods and earth, then they should be ashamed of you. They should really be ashamed of you. Obviously, you don't have any knowledge of self because that's what that's based on. I'm very familiar with that. If anybody's a follower, anything's a cult, right? Now, you are a tremendous follower. You said your father was in GE. I don't mean it extended to you. Obviously, you're not because you have no clue what you're talking about. He said, Marvin Jarrell's thank you. This is Ruben in the chat room. I'm looking chat room on fire, y'all. A said, what happened to his afro? He's been black. If he's been black since 63, he said since the 80s, but he's 56, but he's only been pro-black since the 80s. So he more or less goes along with Jesse Jackson's definition of us as African Americans. Maybe he feel more comfortable if I said that, which I'm not going to say because I said what I said and it is what it is. Now, did y'all see, and shout out to Mama Jenkins. Mama Jenkins sends me information quite frequently. She sent me some information about a sister who's been working for the county up here. She is the assistant chief deputy clerk at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. And somehow, some way, they got a search warrant to go in her home, and they found a bunch of drugs, a bunch of cocaine, fentanyl, weapons, paraphernalia. She's been removed from her position. And I guess allegedly this belongs to her brother and her nephew. So once again, here's somebody's family who decided, fuck your job, fuck your house, fuck your couch, right? And is, you got to watch people, man. You got to watch them. You can't let people take advantage of you, especially if you're making moves and you're doing something positive and you're progressing in life. Sounds like she had a pretty good job. She was making a pretty good living for herself. They showed her house. Her house looked nice. And she was allowing them. And to tell you the truth, you could look at it and say, well, it ain't on her, it's on them. But it's actually on her for allowing it. Because I'm telling you right now, there's no way I would let anybody, especially where my family lays their head, I wouldn't let anybody jeopardize that by storing something illegal, drugs and all this kind of shit in my house. There's no way. I don't care who you are. I don't care how long we've been friends, family, whatever. You'd have to move around with it. Like, I would definitely not allow that. I don't. And sometimes, they say it'd be the ones closest to you. It'd be the ones that's right with you. So, you go to chat room. Kerry Walker said, no good ever in GE. She said, they said she's also protecting her son. Is that what it? So it's a family business, right? It's a family business. Ruben said, I grew up when I realized Jesus wasn't white, and that's been over 18, and that's been over 18 years old, and I'm 60 now. Well, a little enlightenment goes a long way, my brother. Sometimes when you unlearn a lie that you've been told, it does free you up a lot. I get what you meant. He said, since I was 18. I get what you meant. Ruben. I don't know. How would y'all feel if you were doing pretty well and you had a cousin? We all got those cousins that we just love, and in our community, we grow up with our cousins. They're like our friends. That's where the term cuddy comes from. It's your cousin, but it's your buddy too. So, a lot of times your cousins say, cuz just hold this down for me. I know you don't be on nothing, so they ain't gonna never think to come over here. Would you allow a family member to do that? A lot of us do. A lot of us holding something right now. That's illegal. That our cousins left. And if you the one who get exposed and the police kick your door in and you say it's theirs, they say you snitching. You snitching. Right? Like, come on, man. I don't know. This is one of the things in our community. This is how we've been. We hold each other down, right? And a lot of times one bad apple can spoil the bunch. I don't know this sister, but if she's protecting these individuals, especially when she's sitting downtown, working in the county courthouse, watching people processing paperwork as they get processed for drugs, and you see the damage firsthand that is done in the community, and you still say, hey, well, I'm gonna allow them to store fentanyl, especially fentanyl. Like, this is one of the worst things that has come along since crack in our community. Fentanyl, which kills people dead. I certainly wouldn't allow you to store that in my house, right? And I would say, cuz I can't even believe you asked me that, right? So, but I've been in the streets. I understand. You trying to look out. You're trying to be, hey man, I'm doing a little bit better. I want to be a resource for my people. I want to be an asset. Sometimes you become a liability to yourself by looking out for others who don't give a damn about you. And if somebody gonna ask you to jeopardize your own safety or your own standing, then they are definitely a detriment to you, and you need to cut them loose. What I talked about a long time ago, like, people always ask me, Kev, especially people who know me very well know, at one point I ran the streets. I was what they say outside. I was off the porch. I was out here trying to do my little thug thing. And I was pretty good at it, right? I was pretty good at it. But there's a lot of people right now who will encounter me or talk to me and say, Kev, how you change all this? How you switch it around? A big part of how I did it was I changed a lot of the people that I'm around on a daily basis. And a hit dog holler. So if you're out there and you say, man, Kev used to rock with me all the time, and then I stopped seeing him, you're probably one of the people I'm talking about. But I changed my surroundings. I changed a lot of the people who were catalysts for me to get in shit. I started looking at, when am I in drama? When am I on some bullshit? It's with this person or that person. Okay, I'm going to stop going around that person. I'm going to stop going to that particular place. And once I started to do that, I noticed my life changed for the better. So a lot of times, if you keep these people around as you're progressing, when you get to a certain point, they will try to talk you out the tree. They'll try to talk you off the island. They'll try to inject some negativity into your life so that you can just to knock you down and not so you don't get too far ahead of them. And sometimes it's people who really want your help because they're trying to get up too, but they're going about it the wrong way. That's why I say you have to be very careful who you associate yourself with. I used to, I had a coach one time, my brother, my coach Reed, he used to tell me all the time. He used to be like, show me your friends, show me who your friends are, and I'll show you your future. Right. And he was exactly right. Because at the time, I was on some bullshit. I was hanging around all of the wrong people. And my future wasn't looking very bright. It wasn't until I started to make some changes, especially once I had children. And I'm like, you know what? I got to turn this corner. A lot of it was accomplished by changing some of the people who I had around me, not all of them, and some of the places where I would hang out at that I really loved to be. And I just figured, if I'm gonna make this move, if I'm gonna make this transition, I gotta make some changes, and that's what I did. Ruben said, "Preach." Ace Cooley said the picture that they depicted of Jesus, some gay white man, right, like a pope's son of some sort. Kerry Walker said, my nephew did me like that, had me on a watch list. They told me they were just waiting on the next postal delivery. When my other nephew told me what was going on, I snitched on everybody, front and center, and that nigga can't even come to my house no more. But then they'll make you the bad guy, Kerry. She said she snitched on everybody. Everybody got to go. Everybody got to go. Ruben says, preach. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Earl Henny said, fuck who don't pay the rent. Sometimes, you know what, Earl? Sometimes, and this is whenever I've mentored young men and I've encountered a lot of young men through my career of working with people in the community from grassroots all the way up, I've always told them, like, you gotta, sometimes it's okay to love somebody from afar. Like if you got, and I got homeboys, right? I got cats who I come up with. We grew up together. We cut our teeth together, knee high to a flea. But I understand what they do and what I do may be two different routes. And it's fine. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to talk them down. But I'm going to stay out their way. I'm going to stay out their lane. As we said, we going to stay out the way. I'm going to get over here and do what I need to do. And I'm going to let you do what you do over there. And still love. Ain't no hate. Ain't no hatred. Ain't no none of that. But, hey, what Martin say? If you walk away from me, I just love you from behind. It's one of those things. So, yeah, it's okay to love you from afar, man. That's that whole thing about when brothers get a little paper and start trying to say, I want to live in a better area, and they move out the neighborhood. First thing that they do is accuse you of being a sellout or something like that. And it's like, yeah, but if I'm getting money, I'm doing well, I'm trying to rise up, and I'm living in the neighborhood, I got to deal with people who ain't progressive, trying to steal, trying to break in my shit, trying to, cause all kinds of drama. So sometimes it's better to just separate yourself for peace of mind. To say, you know what, I deserve better, and I'm gonna get better. So, that's how it goes. Kerry said on top of that, he had stolen the first shipment, and the dude from Cali was talking about coming here and doing something to my house. Yeah, deep doo-doo that you had nothing to do with. A said, yes, man, once you have kids, man, life becomes scary and you can't take the chance of getting your family hurt. Ruben says, church. I just knew what kind of father I wanted to be, and I wanted my kids to be in a positive environment. Like, one of my things was I didn't want to do anything that would have police, sweating me, because I didn't want my kids growing up seeing police tearing through our house, got me face down on my stomach while they, got to go downtown to see daddy in jail. I didn't want them to live that kind of life. And that was just me saying, how do I want my family? How do I want them to grow up? How do I want my children to grow up? And I flashed back to my dad, because my dad changed his life for the better because of my brother and myself. He made a lot of changes, a lot of people he stopped hanging around, and a lot of places he stopped going for us. So we didn't have to grow up watching him destroy himself. Because from conversations that I had with him, and he would tell me that at one point I was on a real destructive path. I don't know why I was sabotaging myself. I was doing very bad, and I had to make some changes, and he did it. So that taught me the lesson. That's how I knew what to do, right? Each one teach one. He says, where's bro tonight? Who we talking about, Ruben? Who we talking about? Where's who? 262-202-5131 is Outlaw Radio live on a Monday evening, live from the Chocolate City Studios in beautiful Northwest Milwaukee. What's happening, man? It's your boy, Kevin Barnes. We're just doing what we do, minding our own foundational Black American business, man. Just talking what we're talking about, going over the topics that are important to us. It's a lot going on in the news. Somebody brought up Master P. That was Brendan who talked about Master P. And, if you weren't aware that Master P came out and made a comment about Black people need to let slavery go. And move on. Like he was saying, like, I can't change what's happened in the past, but I can change what's going on in the future, what'll happen in the future. And he said he felt like Black people dwelling on slavery was holding a lot of us back. Well, as you can expect, there was a lot of backlash for Brother Percy on this statement. I think I'm one of those people who've said I don't use slavery as a crutch. Everything that goes wrong, slavery, I don't. But it doesn't mean I've forgotten about it. You say forgive, but don't forget. And I don't hold slavery against. I don't know if that's forgiveness, even though we know forgiveness is divine if you're talking about the word. But I don't hold slavery against every white person I encountered today. It's like I don't blame slavery for everything that goes wrong in my life. I know that it's had some long-term negative effects on our people. But I've always said it was so long ago that I don't know about you being dysfunctional now, reaching back saying, well, it's because of slavery. Now I know my brother Dion is in the chat room, and I know he always says post-traumatic slave syndrome. But I'm not one of those people. But I also don't think we need, as Black people, to be telling each other, hey, just forget about it and just move on. You have to understand why it happened, how it happened, and what was the results of it. Because if you don't understand your history, you are destined to repeat the same mistakes that were made during your history. So, yeah, not one of those people, but I don't think Master P, after making millions of dollars off of music that celebrated selling crack, shooting each other, dysfunction in the hood, real niggerish behavior, I don't think P should be like, talking down his nose to people about forget this and forget that. Like, come on, man. Like, P, be cool. Like, and I think what he's doing now, I think P's made a lot of changes. Obviously, he's a lot older than he was back then. He's learned a lot of lessons over the years. But, I feel like, talking down to the people will not be tolerated. We ain't going to talk down our nose at the people, right? And if there's a brother or a sister who says, hey, man, and they want to talk about the effects of slavery, let's have a conversation. But if you are dysfunctional right now and you're not servicing your family or taking care of your responsibilities or addressing your priorities like you should, I personally won't accept you blaming it on slavery. I'm going to say that ain't slavery, that's you. It's the same thing I go with, and I think P even made a point about blaming white people and all this. I'm one of those brothers, I don't blame everything on the white man. Because I look around at a lot of the damage that's in our community, the damage that's done, and I believe a lot of these wounds are self-inflicted. So I don't blame white people for everything. Now, we understand that there's systematic racism in the United States of America. And this system that they created a very long time ago was built to benefit the white man. And he has been the purveyor of it. He has been the person who's kept it perpetuating all these years, and left everybody out, and everybody had the short end of the stick except him. We understand that. Now, does that mean every white person is racist? And I'm not going to be the black person to sit up and say, all white people ain't bad, because I don't have to justify or protect them. What I'm telling you is, as a black man, I understand some of this shit is my fault, right? And some of it is systematic. Like I used to talk about on the show all the time. I look at Black America as some of our problems are systematic, meaning they are a result of the system that was set up, like, the prison pipeline. But some of it's systemic, meaning that we've adapted a culture around dysfunction and latched on to some things that are very, very detrimental to us. And so it's systematic as well as systemic. Now, the good news is you can get it out your system. I just made this point. And I know there's a lot of people who listen to the show who have made the same transition I've made, in which at one point you were just not necessarily a benefit or an asset to your community, but you got over it. You said, you know what, I'm gonna change things up. And this ain't about, becoming some super saved, super, oh, I'm the greatest, I'm so enlightened now, I'm Svengali, I'm a Swami. It is about simply understanding and accepting where your flaws are. Like, there's no bigger critic of me than myself, right? Because I can lie to anybody and have it be believable, but I cannot lie to myself. So when I'm doing something that's not positive or not progressive, I know I'm doing it. So you have to utilize that same energy to say, I need to stop doing that shit. Right. And sometimes there's no shame in saying, okay, I will admit that once was what I did. Yeah, I did do that. But it's even better to say, hey, but I'm redeemed because I stopped doing it and moved in a different direction. So shout out to the homie Westside Zeladon, who told me one time when I was going through a tough period, he said, man, if the thing that you need to do is, if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging, right? Start putting some of that dirt back, and pretty soon you'll be above ground. So I believe when I moved into being a community advocate and start working with my people, a lot of the grassroots organizers I was fortunate enough to do with the Black Panthers, my professional career of working with young people and working in the community and education and workforce development, all of that kind of helped me get over some of the dumb shit that I used to do when I was younger, right? And I'm no longer that young man anyways. I'm a grown man now. So, I'm straight. So I'm straight. Ruben said nothing but pure jewels. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. He said my sidekick. You talking about Ian, the fact checker. Ian is an entrepreneur, so he runs a business. So he's not always able to get on. Sometimes he's in his office doing, going through his processes with his business. He said he'll be here Wednesday. And I seen a Facebook post that he put up talking about he's changed his work schedule so he can be more available to the show, because Ian and his News Undone team have been at it. Boy, they've been at war with these conservative, I guess pundits, I would call them. They've been very critical of Ian because of his criticism of Orlando and the Republican Party. Man, a lot of us is straight up racist. Some of the comments, what you don't understand is me and most other white people don't like niggers, but we like black people. Like, get the fuck out of here. Come on, man, with that shit. That's why I hate when comedians, and I hate when Chris Rock said that years ago. I got the joke. I was a very, very big fan of Chris Rock. I got the joke, but I didn't like that sentiment, because how do you define nigger? Somebody is a nigger versus a black person because somebody is poor, or because they could live in a dysfunctional community, or because they're in a unfortunate economic downturn. They're not having what they need to have, and they're hustling and just try and make it out. So then that means they're a nigger, and because you have a good job or you have education, you're a black person. That's the equivalent of white people labeling us one of the good ones and one of the bad ones. Oh, I like him. He's one of the good ones. And that's what they always try to do with trying to tell us who our leaders should be. That's why I'm nonpartisan. That's why I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, because I don't agree with them telling me or us who our leader should be. Then we are smart enough to understand what individual, in terms of trying to become an elected official, has our best interests at heart, and we should vote accordingly. So it ain't really about partisan politics. That's why I say people over party all the time, because I don't think anybody should tell us, we don't need you to tell us, I should say, who we should vote for. He says he's talking about Ian. I caught that, Ace. Ruben says, sorry to hear that, Queen. Family isn't by definition anymore. He's talking about what Carrie was talking about with her family. Jeff Crape, my big homie. What up, man? Jeff Crape, he said, what's good, KB? Been a while. Yes, sir. I'm glad you tuned in with us tonight, Jeff. It's always love. Jeff is down in the big Texas, the big state of Texas, but by way of the 414, used to live right around the corner from me forever. We actually went to high school, played football together. He's a fellow Rufus King general. What up with you, man? What up, Jeff? How you doing, man? Kerry Walker says them Republican pockets got him talking stupid. Ruben says church. He said, man, spit that. Self-deception is the greatest of all deceptions. Yes, sir. Was this Ace? He said, yeah, you older than mofo too. You talking about me? I know I'm 50 years old. I already know my status. Yes, I'm no spring chicken. I got more time behind me than I do in front of me. That's what I'm trying to make the best of the time that I have left, man. That's why. She said, Kerry Walker said, laughing my ass off, Ian playing hooky. He might be, but he deserves it. This is Outlaw Radio is my baby, man. This is my baby. I learned a long time ago not to expect anybody to have the same level. And I'm not saying that Ian doesn't, because I think Ian brings a lot to the table and he does a great job when he's here. But I don't expect anybody. I've had so many co-hosts. If you've been listening to my show, you know that over the last 14 years, I know at least 10 to 12 other people on this show with me. But what I learned is you can't expect anybody to have the same kind of passion and dedication to something that you came up with, your own creation, something that drives you, something that you say, I need to take this up and do it. You can't expect everybody to have the same kind of push for it as you. And so it doesn't really bother me if somebody say, hey, I can't make it tonight, or hey, Kev, I was going to come on, but I had to cancel it doesn't bother me. I feel like the show just goes on and on and on. The show it writes itself. So yeah, I don't, he might be playing hooky, but it's well deserved. Ian, drink one for me, right? If you're playing hooky. Sometimes I play hooky and he be ready and I'd be like, nah, man, no show tonight. And he'd be like, oh man. A said, shit, they don't tell us who our leaders should be. They push motherfuckers on us. They try, but it's on us. It's on us to not follow. It's like when you say not falling for the banana in the tailpipe, and to let them know we no longer are paying you any attention. But a lot of times, a lot of us have this white ice is colder thing where we love us some white folks and we want to be accepted by them. So if they do chime in and say, hey, this guy right here is one of the good ones. He's not a nigger, he's black. And we feel good about it. I mean, we just talked about this with Brother DC, with people saying he was an establishment candidate. And I think he may have taken an offense at it. But I mean, when you got the governor of a state endorsing you, and you have all of the publications and all of these different organizations that are what I would definitely define as mainstream endorsing you, you are an establishment candidate, right? You are. If you are not the people's champion, if you're not who we said we want, who we're behind, who we're pushing, you are an establishment candidate. So it is what it is. Take it and leave it, right? My mom used to say, your ass go when the wagon come too. Ruben said that part. He said, Ace Cooley said, hence Kamala. Well, Kamala was part of that, but also for me with Kamala, it was just, I wanted anybody except Trump. So maybe I did follow along that time. Let me give myself one of these. Because I wasn't completely sold on her, but I wanted anybody except Trump, and I still feel that way. I'm like, you hear people criticize us for being so loyal to the Democrats. I voted for Biden, and I didn't love Biden at all. But once again, for me, I would have voted for a trained gerbil as opposed to Trump. I sat out an election between Hillary Clinton and Trump because I didn't want to see Hillary in there. And Trump came in, and his first presidency should have been the precedent for what was going to happen, because we seen what he did that time. He just made a mess of it. So, yeah, he said, this is Marvin. This is our troll tonight, y'all. He's come in and to show us the error of our ways for claiming FBA. He said this is exactly what these platforms are, like high school cliques. You only want people who agree with whatever you say. Once again, you're on the wrong show. You're on the wrong show. You're talking to the wrong person. You have no clue what I do here. You absolutely don't. I've built this platform on allowing everybody to have a space. And actually the purpose of this platform is for us as Black people to have these difficult conversations, even when we don't agree, and agree to disagree, and sometimes not agree at all, but still leave without somebody getting their head knocked off. So you have no clue what you're talking about. You got the wrong show. You got to go bark up a tree that does that, right? Like you got the wrong one. You got the wrong one. Earl Henning says some people don't know that they are Black. Let me see what Marvin is saying. He said, none of you are capable of critical thinking and common sense. Okay, if that's what you say. Kerry Walker said, Marvin Gerald's all damn. Who woke your ass up? Nobody. He ain't woke. He said, you claim to want Black unity, yet you can't have a productive conversation with a Black man who challenges your rhetoric. Once again, I don't speak in rhetoric, and if you come at me with disrespect, then I'm going to give you disrespect. That's what you got to know about me. I'm not passive. I don't turn the other cheek unless I'm turning around to tell you to kiss my ass. So you come at me, you came at me disrespectfully. So that's what you got back. If you wanted to have a conversation, then you should have came at me with some respect, because there's no need for me to bow down to anybody. And as far as rhetoric goes, I don't engage in rhetoric. I don't have to, because the truth is the truth. And people are smart enough, especially the people who support my platform, they're smart enough to see through bullshit anyway. So I don't have to speak. I don't have to spit rhetoric. And you haven't challenged me yet. All you doing is just making an ass out of yourself, speaking against Black people. You're not challenging me. You're speaking against Black people. So I'm glad you know the word rhetoric. Brenda Peterson, how you doing? She said, hey, Kev, hope all is well. It is great. How you doing, Brenda? It's wonderful. I'm having a wonderful evening. I've been having a wonderful week. Like, God is good, man. Kerry Walker said, Marvin Gerald's work, want. Oh, you want him to get one of these? All right, I got a caller on the line. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Man, you know who this is, man. It's that nigga D, man.
What's going on, Dion?
What's happening
Tonight, man? What's up with you?
Man, you already, man. Listen, man. You already know, man. Just sitting back, chilling, checking out you going back. I didn't know you had time to go back and forth with nobody else. I guess you was bored tonight. That was a little entertainment. What's up, man? You ain't said nothing about Trump letting niggas get these firearms, man. You know what I'm saying? We touched on it a little bit the other day, but you ain't really went in depth about it. About them with the DOJ. I want to know, is it going to be federal or is it just all around? Because if it's solely federal, then that's something different, because each state got its own thing. You feel what I'm saying? Then, I know you talked about the beef. So the Supreme Court today allowed dudes to, like, I'm not going to say damn mail-in ballots, but it's something going on with the mail-in ballots. And I'm like,
Well, that's hurting some of your constituents. Them funky ass hunkies that live out there in the boonies and shit. You know what I'm saying? Them motherfuckers that, you know what I'm saying, that ain't gonna be able to vote. And you know what though, Ken, man? I hear white people every day to be on the, online. And sometimes I want to go on there, but I don't want to go on there. I would go on there. But see, the only thing about us going on there, motherfuckers report us there, try to find out what we working on and all that. But I don't know why white people really, I know, listen, I know a lot of people that don't like white folks. They like mosquitoes or flies. Like, I don't care for none of that shit. I can't alleviate it, but I don't care about it. You feel what I'm saying? Like they be making it seem like we want to be their friend. We want to live next to them. We want to do all. No, I don't. No. I can listen. I can really go without seeing you, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But I've been seeing the temperament. Did you hear about the Texas Roadhouse? They been spitting in people's food and shit. I'm like, I don't really eat fast food like that anyway. But I'm gonna keep it real with you. I want to stop visiting those places where those Indian motherfuckers be, like BW3s, the place where they sell the wings at, Buffalo Wild Wings. They hotels. I don't like them neither. You know what I'm saying? That's just like I was listening to something last night. I'm gonna send it to my girl so she can send it to her daughter. But it's a difference between a black Muslim and an Arab Muslim. And that's one reason why I don't like the Arabs either. You know what I'm saying? Because before the Europeans had slavery, Muslims had slaves. The Arab Muslims. That's why if you look over there, Uganda and Ethiopia and Egypt and all that, they have those Arabic features because they enslaved people over there. You feel what I'm saying? But it's definitely a difference though, man. And then I was just listening to you like my nigga Dion, and I was like, and then when you was talking about slavery, I was like, bro, everything revolves around racism. I know a lot of people don't really think it does. Everything from your light bill to your tax code to the zip code you live in to your insurance to your health, everything revolves around race. Now you might not believe it, and I can't force you to believe it until you start digging in, doing your research and looking at more information. Nigga, it fucked me up when I found out the tax code had something to do with being black. I was like, damn, these people in every corner of your life, race plays a part. I'm like no bullshit. I'm gonna keep it real with you. When I used to go play the lottery, my one friend, she worked at Metro Market. I had that. I feel like, girl, when y'all be selling them for the lottery to me, y'all push back. It seems like ain't no niggas getting lucky. I'm like, what the people getting lucky? Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But I don't excuse me. I do feel like that was an ignorant comment, Master P. You know what I'm saying? If people are really not in tune with things about racism and understand how it affects our everyday life, then they really need to shut the fuck up, because that shit. I mean, why do you think we're in a situation, and we ain't even got to be talking about financial. Okay, we can overlook that. We can look over the Jim Crow laws and all that, but why do you think white people feel the way they do towards us? Because once upon a time we were enslaved. For some reason, they didn't like, or they felt like we needed to be enslaved. Like, man, listen, bro. I'm telling you, I'll be looking at them. Oh, June 1st or June 11th, 1963, Medgar Evers was assassinated. Think about that. 1963. Let it ring in your head. When I be listening to those old Mississippi and Alabama archives, man, them white folks was serious. They didn't want to go to school with colors. They didn't want to live next to a nigger. They said that the federal government is forcing this shit on them. They said it's going to take some time for them to accept this. And I'm like, Jesus. Martin Luther King was assassinated in 68. This ain't that long ago. So when people try to put that shit, push it in the back of their mind and push it in their life, like, oh, we ain't got it. No, it's not. I'm sorry. And some of your fans and people that call in on your show was born in the 60s. So they seen it. My mother was born in 58. You know what I'm saying? Like they seen it firsthand, racism, and my mother was born down there in Arkansas and they moved to Chicago. Like you always say, your mother and them came from Mississippi. So these are people, could you imagine, kid, we on our way to school, man, we walking, we talking shit, we playing, fucking with each other, and we just see a motherfucker hanging from a tree. Ain't nothing we can do about it. Them hunkies look over there, and not only do we see the nigga hanging from a tree, he's getting hung as we walking by. And we just gotta look and keep it moving. Like, ain't nothing to see here, boy. You know what I'm saying? And me and you like, and then not only do we gotta finish our walk, but we nervous because they hung that nigga. What the fuck they can do that? Then we gotta go to school. Then we gotta walk. So maybe you might be like, 'cause I'm stupid. Maybe you might be like, man, D, I want to go a different way, man. Hey, you know what I'm saying? So we go the way because we don't want to visualize the man that hangs from the tree. And maybe if we went the same way, we've been in school 5 or 6 hours and we ain't came back. This man still hanging from a tree. We see the blood and the shit coming down. Then we got to go home. And then we got to go to sleep. Then we got to wake up. Like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is deep. Bro. This is deep. This is deep. You know what I'm saying? I can't forget about it. I ain't gonna tell you.
All right. Let me go to my chat room. I got a bunch of comments.
Go ahead.
Ace Cooley said,
I can hang out for a little while.
He said, I'm proud that we are no longer falling for the vote for anyone black for Democrats. A lot of them are shielding or bought and paid for by other white organizations. I don't know who Ace is arguing. I think he's arguing with the troll we got on tonight, Marvin Geralds. He said, then call in, nigga. And then he said, Ace Cooley, let DMX rest in peace, pussy. Kerry Walker said, I be online full of government name, letting they ass have it. Yeah, I don't hide behind shit either, Kerry. I have no reason to. She said, Marvin Geralds, you liked your own shit. Definitely a psychopath. Ace says, Marvin Geralds, what bitches want from a nigga? Ace said, gone somewhere, old dickhead ass nigga. And he said Ace Cooley's a coward. So he's in the chat room. He's doing what he does. Now, I wanted to talk about the latest development too with the Carmelo Anthony thing, because we found out over the weekend, or the news came out, that the young man who he murdered, what's his name? Aston, what's his name? What's the name of the white kid? Hold on, let me find it. Austin Metcalf had actually been in trouble for some racist behavior. He and his brother were arrested for spray painting some Nazi rhetoric on the wall, some racist insult to black people. He had a reputation of being, a young racist, a young fascist in the making. And so on the heels of that, Carmelo Anthony, his parents, through their attorney, had filed for a motion for a new trial, but it was just denied on Saturday. By retired Kaufman County Judge Michael Chitty. It says the ruling came in a brief order with no detailed reasoning. Anthony's murder conviction and 35-year sentence stay in place. It said the day before the new trial hearing was even started, Judge John Rose Jr., the original trial judge, was recused from overseeing the next steps of the case. A visiting judge from San Antonio, Sid Harley, made that call. Harley said that he personally believed Roach could rule fairly, but that the decision had to be viewed through the eyes of a reasonable member of the public. From that view, Roach's post-trial statements raised questions about his impartiality. He said, Harley stated his own belief that Roach was fully capable of ruling fairly before he even made the decision to remove him. Said it was bias on the record, coming from one person who then decided to pull Roach off the case. We believe that the recusal was a strategic play. Time right before the hearing that would decide whether Anthony's original trial was fair. It could have gone two ways. It could have been Roach stepping back because whatever is sitting on his record from public statements didn't look good and needed distance put between him and the next ruling. Or it could have been Roach handing off the reins entirely, knowing a completely new judge with no connection to the case could arrive at the same outcome anyway. Either way it goes, the effect is the same. Now, it's two judges on record reaching an identical result. two sets of eyes, same term, same ending. Okay. So basically, he's been denied a new trial, even though all of the evidence, because there's a lot of things that were withheld, from in the original trial. It said that on the record, the defense argued that Anthony's right to a public trial was violated by restricted courtroom access, and that pretrial conferences were held without him present and weren't documented. It's also been widely stated that he allegedly agreed not to take the stand, and that was his decision. Let me see. And this is a 19-year-old kid who's 17. I mean, at the time of the trial, he was 17 when this happened, sitting in jail. Obviously, he don't know what the hell is going on, and so he made this decision, and he's obviously very uninformed. So more injustice in the Carmelo Anthony thing. I tell you what, if I were anybody down in that area of the country, I would say boycott. Shut that whole county down. Shut it all down. It makes no sense, especially with what we wanted to know was Aston Metcalf really, because we know white bullies who move how they move. And a lot of times they will victimize a young black kid when they catch him by himself. And we wanted to know off top, was that the case here? But you heard none of that. You're hearing it now, and you're seeing that he was on probation for he and his brother being caught doing these graffiti or whatever. But so Carmelo won't be getting a new trial. So I don't know if this is something that's going to go to a higher court, but we're definitely watching, and hopefully we are reacting, because we need to be proactive about stuff like this. This is our justice system at its finest. Young black boy getting railroaded. Now, once again, I'm not justifying murder, right? And I said this on record when it happened, that I feel like, hey, he had to live with the consequences of the decision he made. But come on, man, let the legal system be fair. When we say you got a young white girl who did almost the same thing and got 6 years, and this brother got 35 years. Come on, man. Carrie says
that's messed up.
She says Austin Metcalf was trash, and his little brother just lost his woman to a black boy. Yeah, I didn't know about that. This is Ace arguing with the troll in the chat room. Marvin Jarrell's fuck you. He said, you broke ass Charleston white wannabe. Earl said,
why dude snapping like that? What's wrong with it? The guy Marvin.
I don't know. Obviously he doesn't like the platform. He doesn't agree with the foundational Black American talk. He doesn't agree with anything I'm saying. He said we're foolish and this kind of thing, and only people that I can have conversations with are people who agree with me, which is, like I was trying to explain to him, he got the wrong show. He's like, he's saying that I'm a Trump Tariq Nasheed follower and all this kind of shit. I keep trying to tell him he got the wrong show. He obviously has tuned in with the wrong sentiment, but that hasn't stopped him. So people in the chat room are getting at him. He's saying
there's a lot of people upset about that FBA though. And somehow I be coming across my algorithm on Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, on YouTube, and they be arguing about it all the time. I don't really get off into it. I'm just, I don't claim it. I don't deny it. I'm just African American. You know what I'm saying? Like they got the other one called ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves. There's just so many things, I don't know. I just, like I said, I'm just a black man in America, man. That's all I am.
Ace says, Marvin Gerald's, I be that old raggedy ass gray baby. Your mama done fucked on the wrong nigga and had a baby with Down syndrome.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know. They going at it pretty personally. Carrie says that he keeps talking his own shit. He keeps talking his own shit, weird ass. Yeah, there are people who, and I've said this from the start, and I understand, because I see it just like anybody else. There are people who don't agree with the delineation movement, which is fine. It's totally fine. You have the right to believe and move how you want to move. It doesn't bother me in the least bit, but don't disrespect me, right? Don't come to me talking a bunch of shit that you don't know about, especially when it comes to what I do here on this platform and my personal commitment to my own community and my own people. You can say that shit for somebody else. Like, if you don't agree with it, you don't agree with it. Fine. Okay, that's fine. It's not my job to turn you out. This ain't pimping. I'm not a pimp trying to recruit a new whore. Go and believe what you believe, but why stick around just to be negative? right? Because we exchange a lot of information on this show. There's a lot of black empowerment and enlightenment on this show. So why would you come in and try to troll? Like I don't know, maybe he got it twisted that what he's doing is something that will affect me, right? And it's not. It's not going to stop me from claiming to be an FBA. It's not going to stop me from believing in the delineation movement. It's not going to stop me from talking to my people on Mondays and Wednesdays every week and us having conversations that really matter because, like I say, they talk about us, but they don't talk to us. So nothing he's doing is, I mean, you're just wasting your time. If he just wanted some attention, there you go. I gave it to you. You got some attention. I hope you can walk away from this saying, yeah, I told them. Okay, good luck with that. Kerry Walker.
Did you hear about
hold on. DeVille, what up, man? What up, Q Love? He said, what up, Kev? How you been? Q, have I been keeping up with the Tupac murder trial? Kinda, but not putting too much into it. But I have it in my talking points because I want to talk about something this week that I noticed and something that's coming out. I'm gonna talk about that. What was you about to say, Dion?
About the shooting that happened on Sherman and Capitol, the road rage shooting, and the little 1-year-old was hit.
I haven't talked about it yet. No, I hadn't talked about it, but I did see that in the newspaper.
Yeah, I was coming down Capitol that day, and they had the whole motherfucker blocked off. I'm like, what the fuck? And then when I went around the block and came back up Hope Street, they had that the alley book. So I thought it was a homicide because normally like, when people in the alley, they probably thought somebody dead in the alley. Because if a shooting just happened right on Capitol, then they should have just I don't know. Then did you see the little 15-year-old boy? Did you see the little 15-year-old boy? The little 15-year-old boy shot and killed him. Well, I think he killed one lady and then shot the other one.
I don't.
In Detroit, Michigan. You didn't know.
I don't keep up with every homicide. Like I don't click on every murder because a lot of stuff happens in the city. I know it's consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's consistent. The murder and the crime in the community is consistent.
No, this was in Detroit.
I know. I'm saying period when you ask me because I did see the headline about the 1-year-old, but I don't normally keep up with every. I don't talk. I don't.
I feel you though. You ain't wrong because that shit do weigh on you. Like the only reason I know about the one in Detroit is because a lot of people was talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a senseless crime. Like this man never seen these women a day in his life, and just he was 15. That's another shocking part about it. He was 15. So that's what But the whole thing is, when you sit back and look at it, it is just more shit to tack on to us to make us look like we the scum, we the villains, we the criminals. You know what I'm saying? For us just to have this bad tag on us. You feel what I'm saying? Like we can't escape that shadow, and it just is what it is. You ain't heard nothing about the Penn State drug dealers or the Asians down there fighting at the Asian night market. And anytime an African American do something, it's gonna blow clean the fuck up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's why it's important that we have platforms that are created and conducted by us, because we need to challenge the status quo writing of the narrative about us. And once again, that's why I believe self-identification is important and the delineation movement is important. So when I talk to my people and I say us, I'm specific about who I'm talking to, and I'm specific about what I'm talking about. So you won't be misled or misinformed by, sometimes you get on a website or you look and you reading a publication and you think this is fair representation or this is journalistic integrity in action, and it's not. That's why we need to be going to each other to figure out what the actual truth and the actual factuals of the matters are. So that's why I don't get discouraged when I run across a black person who's not with it, right? Like a black person who say, "Oh man, don't nobody care about that," or like somebody who want to tell me something about Tariq Nasheed. Like I don't have anything against Tariq Nasheed, but I'm not a follower of anybody. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. A lot of people send me stuff. Like I get people in my inbox. Kev, did you see this? Check this out. Hey man, watch this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. From a lot of people. I don't know every news story, right? I don't have a 24-hour taper or ticker in my house that's giving me every news story round the clock. So a lot of times people might ask me about something on here, and I'd be like, no, I don't know nothing about it. But I'm cool enough and I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything, nor would I want to. So there's a lot of stories I tell people this all the time. I'm a notorious scroller. I mean, I scroll past a lot of shit and a lot of people. So a lot of times, unlike the troll we have here tonight, if I'm not rocking with your message, I just keep going. I don't feel the need to start commenting, going back and forth with you. I just keep moving. There's no need for me to pay you any attention. So, I don't think people always abide by those rules. Kerry Walker said Africans stressed that they weren't us. I'm not going to beg nobody to accept me. So I'm not African American. I'm FBA. There we go. You can identify with it. A said, right, Kev, nigga ain't said nothing educational or anything inspiring about black people. Block this troll ass nigga. Carrie said, now we got to sage the chat room. Oh, she said we got to sage the chat room. This nigga in here giving off all the little dick energy. Carrie, come on now. Let me give Carrie. You heard that one. I mean, let that man live. Let him say what he want to say. It doesn't bother. It don't stop nothing. It doesn't stop anything, man. That's why at the end of every show we say outlaws for life. It is what it is. Ain't no talking me off of this, right? I'm convinced. I'm so secure in who I am and what I do and what I stand for. I don't really need anybody else's approval. Like I'm not a person who, I'm not a pick me. I don't walk around looking for people to say, you right. A lot of times when I say something, people gonna say, you don't know what you're talking about. It is what it is. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's have some dialogue. If not, then just keep on moving, keep going. Like just, so it ain't really no big deal. Now did y'all see that Sonia Massey's murderer, Sean Grayson, who was the cop a couple years back, she called the police. She said somebody was harassing her. And I believe she had a cup of a pot of boiling water, and he shot her in the head and killed her. He just died in jail. I guess he had cancer of some sort, but he just died. I think he was 34, 35 years old. And he had tried to get out early because of his cancer diagnosis, and he was denied. So he just passed away in jail today. On the other end, when Trump talking about he's gonna pardon Derek Chauvin, I seen that the governor in the state of Minnesota said, well, he can pardon him all you want, and you can dismiss his federal charges, but we're gonna keep him in jail on his state charges. So Derek Chauvin won't be getting out right now, as it stands. He won't be getting out anytime soon, much to the chagrin of a lot of racist people, a lot of people who don't like us, who don't like black people, right? And it's a lot of them. Carrie's on one in the chat room. She said the bitch died horribly. Yeah, well, karma is a motherfucker, man. And I know people don't believe in karma and all this kind of stuff, and you reap what you sow, man. What you put out into this universe, you get it back a lot of times. I saw something else that was very strange, but I shouldn't say it was strange. It was to be expected in the state of Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, where the Brewers wanted to have this Black Culture Fest. I don't know what motivated them to come up with this idea. I don't know who's behind it. They wanted to celebrate Black culture, and white people lost their shit. They were upset. They were upset about this Black Culture Fest. And so you see all these racist comments being put on the comments and on social media. And so I just want racist white people and anybody of any race that don't like Black people to know, we know you're out there. We're not bothered by you. You can't really set me off by making a comment on the Journal Sentinel post talking about nigger this or nigger that. That don't bother me. That doesn't bother me. I already know how most of the time, more often than not, we know how you feel about us. So it doesn't bother me. Just like this dude in the chat room right now talking about you have the same three fools listening to you. No wonder why you don't want an intelligent perspective. You don't have one. You don't have an intelligent perspective. So I don't know what you're talking about. And if you think it's only three people that support me, then once again, it just goes to show how severely misinformed you are. You are a true troll. But I'm going to deal with you. I know exactly how to deal with you. I'm not going to trip on it. I know exactly how to deal with you. There's a way for this to be done. Carrie said Marvin Jarrell's 4 fools, stupid. You can't count. You forgot yourself. That's a good point, Kerry. He forgot himself, right? Because he's been on the whole time. Thank you for listening, man. Thank you for listening, right? What Easy E say? All publicity is good publicity. So yeah, we're not tripping off you, man. We ain't tripping off you. I don't know what you thought if this was your goal for the evening to do something like this. It doesn't really bother me, man. It doesn't bother me at all. Like you are free to be a fool. You could go. I could just go crazy and just really curse you out, but it'd be a waste of time and energy. Because every time you open your mouth, people see how silly you are. But he keep talking about an intelligent perspective, but Ace, you right. He said nigga haven't made an intelligent argument yet. I don't know why he think he's so smart. Maybe it's because he's from New York, because he's from Queens. I don't know. Maybe that's why he feels like he's so smart and enlightened. I don't know. He hasn't. You're right. He hasn't said anything other than some racist talking points that he's regurgitated, which don't bother me. But yeah, I wanted to talk like at the end of the night because at the end of the day, I'm a hip hop dude. It's the soundtrack of my life. I wanted to talk, and we talking about the Tupac and Snoop thing, or the Tupac trial, the murder trial. But the Tupac and Snoop conversation is very, very poignant. And over the years, I've heard a lot of things about Snoop, right? Like we've heard a lot of things about Snoop kind of being a person that's not trustworthy and very shady and a person who moves very greasily. But and I found this out a couple years ago that Snoop Dogg was actually on a project, or he had one of the guys who was in the car when Tupac was murdered. He was on a record with him. Like he had him as part of a project and he shouted him out on the project, which is very strange. It's very suspect and I know Snoop knew, but then I seen a video today and it was Snoop talking about him and Tupac were cool as long as Tupac was neutral when he first came to death row. But once he chose a side and he became more affiliated with the Mob Pirus, allegedly, that's when his problem started, and that's when Snoop started to have a problem with him, which is, we can understand that because Snoop had already chosen a side when he came to death row, being allegedly a member of the Crips, right? So it makes Snoop look shady to me. It makes him look very bad. Like, and it makes a lot of the stuff you hear about Snoop actually being jealous and hateful of Tupac very true. Now, we all know that this whole gang affiliation thing was very negative and Tupac got himself in way too deep. And unfortunately, what they're saying, from all intents and purposes, it cost him his life. But I just feel like for Snoop to move like that, because first of all, to have made songs with Tupac that dissed Biggie and Puffy and to been down with the whole thing, and then go to New York in the midst of the conflict, jump on the radio, say they were your friends and you had love for them and all this kind of stuff, that already made you look suspect. Now, that was allegedly what they had an issue about when Tupac passed away, and him and Snoop were angry with each other because of that. But then to have this individual who you were aware of, the role that he played, who was also, rest in peace to him, God bless the dead, who was also allegedly a member of the Crips, you done music with him. How can you do that? Like, what kind of person says, well, that was my homeboy that got killed, but I'm going to do a song with the dude who was involved? What kind of person does that? I'm looking at Snoop sideways like, yo. I mean, I haven't really been a fan of Snoop since Doggy Style anyways. I think that was pretty much the peak of his career musically and lyrically. And I haven't really thought he's done anything really on that level since. I know everybody was hyped up about the Snoop and Dre album that they released, I believe last year. It didn't live up to expectations. From me listening to it, I didn't really hear anything that was, that was game changing. But for him to come out and say this about, when he stopped being neutral, that's when I started having a problem with him. It's very shady and very shaky. So I don't know how y'all feel about that. Hit me up. I got a few minutes left. We're gonna get out of here tonight by 9:30. 262-202-5131. Dion, you still with us? Okay, Dion dropped from us.
No, I'm still here. I just had you on mute, too. Cause I was on the other end talking to my girl. But yeah, I'm still. I heard that shit with Snoop Dogg too. He was like, had to back up because I'm not really a little bit.
Well, you broke up badly on that last part of that statement. I didn't hear what you said. You said you heard what Snoop had said, and then what?
And Snoop called himself the Dog Father.
Okay.
So he said he can't. He's not the nigga to be out there putting in work no more. He send niggas and niggas. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know. And then another thing, though, I don't know, but I think that was kind of out of order to show the autopsy photos of Pac and shit.
Well, that's standard procedure in a murder trial. So, it's all about swaying the jury. So, that's standard procedure that they would show them.
They talking about knocking dude brains out, though. My mama, though, that man said enhancer. He's like, what's the enhancer for? The murder plus the gang-related shit. That's an additional 20. He was like, whoa. I can't deal with this.
Perfect example why you need to close your damn mouth. Like, everything ain't to be said. Some shit you got to keep to yourself. I see you in the chat room, Ace. He said, how about Snoop dissing anyone that performed for Donald Trump, then turn around the next term and go perform at the function? Or no, it wasn't his inauguration. It was his crypto ball. Right. Well, yeah, that's gonna forever live with Snoop too. At this point, I'm just over it, right? Like it's like Nelly. Like I've never listened to a Nelly song. I wasn't the biggest fan of Nelly anyways, but he's from the Midwest. He did make a couple good songs. They used to have the club jumping. But I wouldn't, anytime anything he has ever done comes on the radio right now, I either turn it off or I turn the station. Because he was one who went and danced. And when Willie D interviewed him, he was just so respectful of the president, respect the office and all this kind of dumb shit. But I just think Tupac and Snoop's relationship was obviously very, very had a lot of tension involved. But once again, I'm looking at Snoop, and you can throw that whole Trump thing in there as somebody who you wouldn't even count on to be loyal. Somebody who is, for lack of a better term, shady. Right? Like, for you to go do a song with the people that killed the man, like, come on, man, stop it. And then to come out with this shit now and make it a gang thing and say, oh, I liked him better when he was neutral. I mean, so Ace said Snoop Dogg then joined the Illuminati. He's too commercial now. Yeah, he's an icon now. He's and once again, I say this because I judge rappers and MCs, and especially in hip hop, for the quality of their music. The quality of his music has not been there in a very long time. Once Dr. Dre left Snoop Dogg and Death Row Records, the funk was gone. And I don't think any other producer, and I wasn't really a fan of the stuff he did with what's his name? Skateboard P, the guy when they did Drop It Like It's Hot and all that shit. I wasn't really a fan of that shit. I really didn't think, I really wasn't into the Neptunes like that. So, but I don't think Snoop has been who he was made out to be. Of course, he came in with the tremendous momentum and he was making dope ass music. But since Doggy Style, what have we had? Because his follow-up album, Dogfather, was pretty much hot garbage. I really didn't like any of the things that he did on No Limit. I'm probably one of the only people who don't like that. Fuck them other niggas because I'm down for my niggas. I never really liked that song. When it used to come on, I used to be like, this ain't tight to me. So, stupid is as stupid does. We're going to get up out of here for the night, man. It's been Outlaw Radio Live. It's been a pleasure to do what I do. I'm happy that I have my supporters with me. I rock with all of y'all, whether you were in the chat room and you said something and you didn't say anything. If you hit the line, I know for a fact there's a lot of people who listen to the show that don't say anything because people who I know come up to me all the time and say, Kev, I'm checking out your show. And I appreciate that. Sometimes when this load gets a little heavy and I don't want to do it, I come in here and still do it in my studio because I know there's people who look forward to the information. So shout out to y'all, man. We're going to keep on doing what we do in terms of informing people, enlightening people, and empowering people, our people. I'm going to continue moving with the delineation movement. I will self-identify. I am a foundational Black American. I do appreciate the sacrifices made by my forefathers and my ancestors because we know it's been a long, hard fight. But we got to keep pushing. We have got to keep pushing to make this thing work. We can't give up now, right? We done came too far. And in the words of Willie D, if your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution to it, you can kiss my ass. So I'll see y'all Wednesday, man. Peace and love, man. Outlaws for life, baby. All right, now.
All right, bro. All right, love, bro.